Alright folks, long time no see. Back to working more than I really want to, but it is what it is. Last video you guys saw was me going over the BorgWarner transfer cases because I put one in this ugly thing. And in the process, I found out, from what I can tell, the torsion bars were mix matched in this truck. And the torsion bar keys come off way easier than what they should have, so I think somebody's been into the front of this before. Who knows for what possible reason. But in the meantime, because I had to tear torsion bar cross member out anyways, be able to swap it for the 1-ton style that uses the BorgWarner cases, I sourced some forged lower control arms. Those come out in 97, I think. Found in 3/4 1-ton trucks, and there's no rhyme or reason to what trucks got them and what ones didn't. The 1-ton chassis I have out back, that has a stamped and welded lower control arm. It's factory 1-ton, 98 I think, and the forged lower control arms I picked up come out of a 98 crew cab dually. So we'll go over some part numbers with you and show you what I have. Alright, all the fun stuff, right? So that is Moog. That is the rear lower control arm bushing. Moog again. That is the correct lower ball joint. When you search for ball joints for these to come up, and they're like a millimeter and a half off, this is for forged lower control arms. The other one is for stamped and welded. All of these parts will only fit the forged lower control arms. They're not interchangeable with the stamped and welded. This is the front lower control arm bushing. So as most of you know, with the stamped and welded style of lower control arms, both the early style and the late style, they typically use a metal clad bushing. The forged ones do not use a metal clad bushing. So these are specific to forged lower control arms. In the process, I figured I'd fix some other things. So this part number, oh, they did a really bad job in printing that, didn't they? That bushing number, if you can see it, see that bolt right there? For that mini cross member that holds your front axle? Yeah, there's 2 of them. That's what those are for. And the same part number front and rear. This part number is for your axle seal, which that one's leaking just like the driver's side was, because they were original. You have to pull the axle shafts out. So on the driver's side, you can take a hammer and tap on it. Use some force at your discretion. There is a locking clip on the end of that axle that retains it into the differential. You got to pop that out on the driver's side, and to do that, you got to have CV shaft, all that stuff out anyways. So I figured doing the lower control arm, I got to take it all off. I might as well just do it and be done with it. On the passenger side here, to replace that seal, you must take out those 5 bolts there, plus that bolt and that bolt up there, and take this half of the axle housing apart, take the axle shaft out, pop out the old seal, put the new seal in, and put some RTV on that guy and put it back together. And as you can see, that guy is also leaking. So, win-win all around, right? The breather on the driver's side of the axle housing, these guys always leak. Whether the plastic just gets brittle, it cracks, whatever. This is the original one out of this truck. Is that a part number? Can we see the part number? That's what the best we're going to do. Oh, there you go. So that's the original part number. It'll probably be superseded. I don't know what I did with the box for the new one I put in. But there's supposed to be an O-ring on the back of this. And somebody just used red RTV. Which I don't know why they would do that. And now I got gunk all over my phone. That was smart. Okay. So anyways, there's the new one I put in. Oh, I also put in new sway bar bushings. Don't know what I did with the box. It has the other one in it, so I gotta find that. But there is the forged lower control arms. They're a direct bolt in. Nothing needs to be modified. It all fits. I have not tightened those bolts down yet. Now I'm going to wait until I get weight back on the suspension. And I am going to tighten those bolts down then. I still got to get some grease in that lower ball joint. Focus. Thank you. Oh, sway bar stabilizer end link needs to come out. Obviously the CV shaft needs to come out. Tie rods need to come out. If you don't have a good air hammer, I highly recommend investing in a good one. Spend the money. You're going to use it a lot on this, trying to do this. Or you're going to have a really bad day with a big hammer and a pin bar, and you're just going to mess stuff up worse than what it really needs to be. Spend the money on a good one. You'll wonder how you went you ever went without one. So to pop this off, the inner tie rod here, you can use a pickle fork and run the risk of messing up your boot, or take said air hammer with a dead blow and hit that, and then that'll eventually pop out. Same thing with your lower ball joint. You got a nice flat spot right there, front and rear. So that'll give me all new, refurbished front end. The upper ball joints I did a couple of years ago. I also did the lower ball joints a couple of years ago too, but different lower control arms, different ball joints. Those bushings were new. The previous owner bought this as an assembly, which I'm not happy about. This is aftermarket control arm. You can figure out who makes it. Their name starts with a D. I'm not a huge fan of that particular company, but whatever, it is what it is. Here is the early style stamped lower control arm and bolt-on ball joint. If you've been around these trucks long enough, you know that those are originally riveted in, and they can be a bear to get out. So it's not necessarily a bad upgrade. Now, I'll get some light here. You can see how that lower bushing is deteriorating right there. The other side was worse than this side. It looks like I need to reinforce that. That bushing's newish. This is also a good time to replace your CV shafts if you haven't done that. And I did mine earlier this spring. So I didn't have the money to go through and do all this. It's just been one huge snowball effect after another. So to get the new bushings in or out, I'm going to take a piece of 5/8 all thread, 5/8 washers, and then I think those are 1 1/8 washers there. And I use that to press the new bushings in and partially out of that. I also used a ball joint press to press the majority of the old bushing out. I've already cleaned these up like 3 or 4 times, but there was a large amount of rust in them, scaly rust, that needs to come out before you put new ones in. So go buy yourself an air die grinder. And something else I would buy along with it, a knotted wire end brush. That's what these guys are. Best part is, if you care, focus, made in USA. No idea what they cost. I stopped looking at prices on a lot of this stuff a long time ago. I just buy it. But There you go. There's the part number for that. Something else I noticed. I've known that that's been broken for a long time. But I noticed the other day, you see that right there? Right there. That manifold is cracked. I never saw that before. I knew about the broken mounting tab, but I did not know about that crack. So I don't know if it goes all the way around, if it's just this side, or what the deal is. So I already eBayed a good OEM used one. I'm not going to buy a knockoff one if I don't have to. And that will be on a separate video by itself with some part numbers for that. It'll have part numbers for the stainless steel exhaust manifold gaskets, because these trucks did not come factory with exhaust manifold gaskets. They were direct manifold to block. My 94 big block does not have exhaust manifold gaskets in it. It's the way they were designed. In the later years, and as a supposed fix for motorhomes, medium duty trucks, GM did offer stainless steel exhaust manifold gaskets. I bought a set. Paid a bunch for them. But like I said, that'll be in its own separate video. That and the 94 wiring harness for this truck. You guys remember this is a 91. I already put a 94 fuel pump in because it runs 32 psi instead of 13 psi. Injectors are different. So I just want to get everything brought up to newer, and I will have two 94 big block trucks that I can just buy parts for and not have that many variations or differences in between them. If you guys haven't noticed, whatever I do to one truck, I kind of do to another truck, so I keep everything similar or familiar between them. But yeah, I've rambled on long enough. As I keep tearing into this, I'll keep bringing you guys back part numbers, issues I run into, etc., etc. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know it can be dry. It is what it is. Nothing to get too excited about. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.